Good morning and welcome to the Facebook Digital Coffee Live. And I've got a brand new light and I'm just looking at it shining there. This is the social media and digital marketing news you need to know this week. Here is the whiteboard for today, a sneaky last minute appearance for LinkedIn, which should really be very big because I anticipate we're going to be talking about that a lot today. If you're just joining us and I can see there's a few, tell me what you're drinking. I'm just finishing off a stunningly good cup of coffee. My mug this week is a Le Creuset mug. I'm feeling very fancy. So tell me how you are. How was your week? It's a beautiful, stunning morning in Ireland here. It looks like a spring morning and we're still in January, which is kind of cool. Let's just hope we get good weather all year round. I can see a couple of you have joined, so do say hi. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me if I look okay, if you can see me and you can hear me. Hi Sinead, Earl Grey tea. Very Jean-Luc Picard of you. Yeah, beautiful, stunning morning. It's been a busy week and I've had a really good week. I think it's the first week this year that I've had a really productive week, so hence the big smile on my face. Let's have a quick look at the whiteboard. We have a lot of Facebook news. We've got regular Facebook news. We've got Facebook Messenger news. We've got Facebook group news. I'm wondering what the Facebook thumbs up is doing to Snapchat, but we have some news on Snapchat ads. Good morning, Kate. Let me know what you're drinking. Tea, coffee, hot chocolate. Google Plus. I think it's the first ever time. Hi David, how are you? You're in desperate search for a cup of coffee. I'm guessing you're not at home then. We've got some Pinterest news and we've got some Twitter news. In fact, I had so much news this week, I actually had to cut some of it out. It's been a really busy week and I could kind of tell that from Monday because all these things kept springing up in my news feed. Can you have a cup of tea instead of coffee, David? Will that suit you? So thanks for joining me. If you know somebody who might enjoy this video, please click the share button underneath and share it with them, with a group. Thanks for all the thumbs ups, and so that they can see and join in as well. Right, starting with, I must grab my iPad because I've just realised I put it out of my reach. 1 second. Otherwise I'll totally forget what I'm supposed to be talking about. Good morning, I can see some more of you have joined. Do let me know who you are, where you are, what you're drinking. Have you got a lovely cup of coffee like me? Good morning, Eleanor. Thanks. Yes, you signed up. If you did sign up, just to let you know, if you don't want to miss one of these, you can sign up to my list where I'll send you a reminder. Hi, Linda. Hi, Marie. Where I will send you a reminder each week that this is about to happen. It is a double opt-in, so a couple of people signed up last week, but they didn't do the double opt-in bit. The link for that is spiderworking.com/Facebook Live. Okay, so on to the news. This is the bit where nothing works. I've got fibre broadband this week. Do I look clearer? Do I sound clearer? I'm wondering. Okay, my first bit of news is about Facebook groups. This is a really interesting one. Now, I haven't seen this appear in my Facebook groups yet, but there's two new improvements. One is quite old. I think it happened over Christmas, so we didn't talk about it before. And this is that you will be able to set it up. Hi, Emma. Oh, good to know that I'm looking good. Well, the internet's looking good. I'm not having a best hair day. So now the interesting thing is if you run a group, you'll be able to set application questions. So if people want to join your group, you can ask them some questions and depending on their answers, you can decide if they want to join. So for example, on my small business bloggers group, I might ask, are you in business? Do you blog? And if they're neither of those things, maybe I won't let them in. I think this will be a really handy and useful tool for group owners because it does get kind of complicated. You don't really know who to let in and who not to let in. I tend to let people in on a risk that they might spam the group, and most of the time they don't. But it would be nice because then I can't let them in until I know I'm going to be online and I'm going to be able to watch what they put in the group. So I think that's going to be a real asset. Now that's a few weeks old. They announced that one. I haven't seen it yet in my group. If you run a group, I know Eleanor runs a fantastic group there. I don't know if you've seen that function yet. The second one is, now Facebook really seem to be investing in groups. The second feature is that they're going to be suggesting topics for discussion within the group. So as I'm imagining, as an admin, you go in and it says, do you want to talk about this topic? Knowing it's relevant to the subject matter of your group. This is going to be great for people who, you know, sometimes you just go, oh, I need to, you know, ask a question in my group, or I need to do something to spark a bit of engagement, and you're stuck. It's going to really, really help with that. So it's very clear to me that Facebook have seen this trend that we like using groups, and they really, really want to push it. The reason for this, well, I think the reason for this is that Facebook has run out of advertising space. We've talked about this before. There's only so many ad units they can put in our Facebook feed. And that's going to be pretty full up, and it means the price of advertising will go up because there'll be more competition for those spaces. So they're trying to find extra places to put ads. Last week we looked at some of the new places that they'll put them on Instagram, where they might put them on video. And they have already said they're going to be putting ads in the feed on Facebook groups. So that's a really interesting one to watch. And also you'll be able to advertise. I've even seen a group advertise. You'll be able to advertise your group not as a link, but actually as part of the inbuilt function of groups. So I can see it's very smart of them to make their investment in groups. We love them currently. There is going to be a downside though. Can you guess what that's going to be? Well, I don't know for sure, but it makes sense, right? Lots of businesses are using groups. Businesses are the people that pay for ads. So obviously they're going to start pulling back our reach, and we'll probably have to start advertising in posts eventually in groups the same way that we do on Facebook pages. However, at the moment, loving groups, love my group. If you're a member of my group, hello. If you're not, search for Small Business Bloggers. Come and join us. We're a great group of people. The next bit is another bit of Facebook news. So we're just going with my standard Facebook logo there, which is a bit drunk this morning. And this one is a really interesting one. So I've got some screen grabs of this, and it's something that happens. Hi, Una Ming, thanks for joining. It's something that has happened to, yeah, you might need to pay to push content out in a group rather than having to pay to have a group, I think. So this one is a really interesting one. It's in your regular news feed, and you may remember if somebody put up a post and then they edited it, you would be able to see at the top edited. Well, Facebook are making this less prominent now, so you can't actually see that little edited thing. If you actually have to go and physically check if a post has been edited. I'm going to show you how now, because I took some screen grabs for you. And this goes for personal profiles, not just business profiles. So here we go. You have to tap at the top of the screen as that little, this is taken from the web, but it's similar on mobile. You just click on that, tap on that little icon at the top of the screen there, and you select See Edit History underneath. Now, I had to do this on my own profile. I've lost my place now. I had to do this on my own profile because I knew that I'd edited a post. I am not good at spelling correctly the first time round. I think that might be the word. Maybe I'm in too much of a rush, but I often make editing mistakes. So I wanted to go and edit this, and I edited it, but you couldn't see unless you clicked View Edit History there. And then you can see the two versions that I had. You can see I was excited about my fibre broadband. I spelt fibre wrong. So I went and changed it later on, and luckily nobody commented on the fact that I'd made a mistake, or they'd look silly. And then you can see each version, that this version, when I spelt it wrong, got 10 likes, and then after the edit I got another 4 likes. I think that's a really interesting thing. And the reason Facebook are doing this is it could be confusing if somebody completely edits their post and changes the meaning of it after you've left a comment. But according to Facebook, most of the edits that people make are spelling corrections or grammar corrections. So I'm not the only one that's making a mistake. That's an interesting one. I do like to be able to see the edit function. I know Twitter users have been looking for something similar for a long time, and I think it is kind of important to be able to see the original, particularly if it gets retweeted or commented on. Okay, so that's my 2 starter bits of Facebook news. We'll be coming back to them later because, oh no, it's not. I've got a 3rd bit of Facebook news that I'd forgotten about. So on to my other Facebook logo, the thumbs up. It has nothing to do with Snapchat. I just ran out of space on my board. But the Facebook fake news story continues. Una Ming, because loads of people, oh, hang on. I just need to scroll down. Oh, look at my finger. Because loads of people used to edit, change opinions slightly, so you can imagine the amount of fighting that will continuously go on in the comments. Yeah, absolutely, Unami, and I think that's an issue. Could you use that as a sort of A/B testing on Facebook posts? That's an interesting idea, Ema. It could. I haven't seen it on a business page yet, so actually I'll have to go and find something that I've made a typo on my own page and see does it work there. But I guess it would work. But I'd be wary of using it because it is almost like you're pulling the wool over the eyes of your readers or whatever you want to call them. Facebook visitors, Facebook likers, people who see your pages. So it is an interesting idea, but I think it's a little bit dishonest. And obviously if somebody checks it out and does do their due diligence there, like some people might, and they see that you've altered the post, that might cause a little bit of a fuss. So we know fake news has been a big thing. We know it's Trump Day today. I'm trying not to think about it, but we know that Facebook is being, in a lot of ways, accused of being behind the fact that Donald Trump won the election because of all the fake news that was being generated, mostly fake stories about Hillary Clinton, completely bizarre things that I can't even believe people believe, but they were out there. And because they've been coming under fire, they've really needed to address this issue. So they've rolled out something new in Germany, just in Germany at the moment. So they're testing this because in particular Germany has been on their case about it. They have an election coming up soon, so I'm guessing they're a little bit worried that the same thing could happen to them. And this system is that you can see how many, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, yeah, it's weird when I touch the screen. Whew. Okay, so they're going to let users mark a piece of content, flag a piece of content as being fake when they see it. And then it doesn't automatically get put out of the feed. A human being, yep, a human being will review that and decide whether it is a fake story or not. Then it doesn't get removed. That's the interesting thing. Doesn't get removed. But what happens is that when somebody tries to share that story on or post that story, they'll get a warning that it won't get newsfeed prominence. So there's 2 questions there. One, why would you leave it up? And secondly, if somebody who's like a conspiracy theorist gets that popping up, this won't get newsfeed prominence, they'll think, oh, Facebook's trying to censor the news, and they might believe it even more. So it's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see how that works in Germany, and will they roll it out in other regions, or will they find a different way of doing it? Some Twitter news. And this bit of Twitter news, like most of the things that we change on social media, who loves Twitter? Udamin, I know you do. Who else loves Twitter? Put a thumbs up if you love Twitter. This is my love Twitter with my thumbs up Facebook. I'm a big Twitter fan, so anything, I'm always watching very closely at the changes that they make. I've got a couple of thumbs up and hearts. For a minute there, I thought you were all going to tell me that you didn't like Twitter. Good, because if you didn't, you're banned. Well, no, not really. But those of you who know me, I'm a big fan. So I watch anything that they do with a keen eye. And we do tend to, when we see a change, we tend to go, oh, that's awful. I hate that. But this new change is that when you change your profile picture on Twitter, and some of you, if you do this, I'd be interested to know, does it work for you? When you change your profile picture on Twitter, it's going to prompt you to share it in your Twitter feed. with the hashtag new profile pic. So you can even, don't go now when I finish, you can go over to Twitter, check that hashtag new Twitter feed, and you'll see people sharing their new profile pictures. I think this is good. Why do I think it's good? Well, firstly, when you change your profile picture on Twitter, can you do a tips video on Twitter and how to get more followers? Maybe once I finish the YouTube series, that might be a good series to do. So when you change your profile picture on Twitter, what happens is people have associated you with your Twitter avatar for a long time. In fact, they see that more than they see your usernames. We're visual people. That's how we recognize people. So very often I'll not realise that I'm talking to the same person that I was last week because they changed their Twitter profile picture. Now, okay, if they tweet it, I'm not necessarily going to see that they've made the change. But for people that I keenly follow, people on my list, for example, I will see that they've changed their profile picture and I'll make the adjustment in my head. I think this is good. I think Twitter are doing it because they need people to tweet more. If the downside for Twitter is a lot of people are kind of doing a lot of retweeting, sharing a lot of links and doing very little else. This might prompt more conversations. I think that's why Twitter are doing it. I think this is a good thing. Well done, Twitter. It's not very often I like one of your changes, but this is the one I really like. And I can see a few of you are responding positively to this, let's say. Who uses Google+? I share my blog post there. This morning I logged into Google+. I think the first time in a very, very long time I've logged into Google+, because I kind of just auto-share my posts. Well, not auto, I have to go through a system, but I share my posts out there and I don't really visit. Yes and no. Are you the same as me, Marie? Tumbleweed. Actually, I saw quite a lot of stuff when I went there today that I found interesting, I thought was really good. I don't think it's a big place for interactions, but there's some nice content there for looking at. It's a good content engine, in fact. However, they've made a few updates to their system over the last 2 or 3 years, most of which I've ignored, so I couldn't say if they were good or bad. I just log in and it looks different. They're updating, making some new updates. It's really super for SEO. You're absolutely right, Marie. It's absolutely brilliant for SEO. As soon as you post something on Google+, Google crawls it. And if you put your keyword or key phrase that you want to get searched for in the copy that you include with your link, that Google+ post might rank, even if your blog post itself doesn't rank. So it is kind of good for your search engine optimization, which is one of the reasons I still do it. And I should do more because I find it, yes, it's great. Okay, so the new stuff they're doing. Number one, they too are thinking about top interactions, because one of the problems is if you're lucky enough to ever get a comment on something you put on Google+, you get a lot of low quality comments, very similar to what you get on Instagram. I'd love to see Instagram incorporating something like this, where they're going to actually hide what they consider low quality comments, which means they get hidden. You see the good quality comments. You can actually see, if you unhide, you can see all the comments, but I think that would be valuable. I'd love to see Instagram doing that, because I'm so sick of getting those great shot when it's a video or whatever it happens to be on my Instagram. They say there's going to be less white space. Now, when I logged in on the web, they are talking mobile first here, but when I logged in on the web today, I saw there was still quite a bit of white space. But when you click into a photograph, you can actually zoom in on it, which is a new feature. So before it would kind of like fill a section of the screen, but now you can zoom right into the sections that you want to. So I was looking at a picture of the Lewis Works in Dublin today on Google+, and I could zoom right in at the rails or whatever. Instagress would go bust. Is Instagress an auto commenting tool, Eleanor? I've not heard of it. I stay away from such things. And events are back. You may remember they had a really nice events tool. They got rid of it in the last update. They brought it back because users want it. So Google are still thinking about Google+. They haven't given up on it completely. again, it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes. And incidentally, while I'm on this, just a little bit of extra news, while I'm on Google Plus and or Google and Twitter, Google have just bought a whole lot of Twitter's API. I don't really know, some of their assets that aren't related to Twitter, which from mine and Beatrice, who predicted over a year ago that Google were going to buy Twitter, and they almost did, maybe they will look at it again this year. If they do, I want a prize, please, in post, something nice. I like chocolate and cats. Don't buy me a cat. Right, on to the next bit of news, which is Snapchat. Yes, Instagress is an Autobot that lots of people use. You don't, obviously. Well, of course you don't, Eleanor. You're a superstar. Right, so on to my Snapchat news, which I know a few of you online are active snappers, so you'll be interested in. In fact, having said that, it's not something we can use yet. So Snapchat are introducing a new type of ad, and it makes total sense. They're sequential ads. So it means that at the moment you can put up a 30-second video as an ad, but what happens is users can skip by it, which obviously is not good. It's a bit like, you know, that bit at the beginning of YouTube, you can skip by it just by tapping the screen. For those that you don't know, use Snapchat, you tap the screen to move on, to move on, to move on. So what they're suggesting to users, they're calling them sequential ads, is that instead of posting your 30-second video, you split it into 10-second slots. That's the maximum length that a user can use on Instagram, so that people, when they tap, they just go on to the next part of the story. So in all, because part of the thing that we would do on Snapchat is that we would watch a little bit of a snap and move on to the next one, even if it is by the same user. So it totally works with the user experience on Snapchat. And people will watch maybe 2 or 3 seconds of each snap. They might not watch the whole thing, but they'll be spending more time with the brand. I think this is smart. It totally fits with the ecosystem of Snapchat. I haven't seen ads on Snapchat, so I wasn't aware that you would have longer ones, because who's going to watch that? Really, really smart. I think it will make them some money. Pinterest as well. While we're looking at advertising, Pinterest, still don't think that's a terrible logo that I drew. I still don't think we can do Pinterest ads in Ireland, but Pinterest again are being very smart. Any pinners there? I don't really use Pinterest. I have a Pinterest account. I pin my blog posts to it, so I'm very much like the way I use Google Plus, but I'm not a Pinterest fan as such. It's never been a network that I've gelled with. Give me a thumbs up if you're a pinner. Maybe not as much love as Twitter. If you're an e-commerce brand, this is one you're getting to love Pinterest. That's good to know. Maybe one day I'll feel the same. It's just not really for me. Now, ads, if you're an e-commerce business, that's their real focus. Pinterest have been very, very smart. They've got brainy people out there, and they realise you don't use it much anymore. It's great for travel bloggers, for example, loads of boards to use. Yeah, it is a good network. I just sigh every time I go there. It's just seems like hassle to me, which I know is a lot of ways people feel about other social networks. I try and talk them out of. So I do use it, but at a minimum. Use it as a search engine. Actually, lots of people are using it as a search engine now. That's one of its functions. Now, what I think is smart about Pinterest is they know their strengths. They know that people come to Pinterest to browse things that they might want to buy. So e-commerce has always been huge for them, and they're really investing in it, and that's where they're looking at their ads. And they've just made their ad product more friendly. In fact, the structure of your ad campaigns within Pinterest now is almost identical to your structure within Facebook. So it's going to be a very comfortable transition for anyone that's already advertising on Facebook to go over and do something similar on Pinterest. You use it when you're looking for a new hairstyle. Actually, the one time I did enjoy using Pinterest was when I was choosing my tattoo. So again, I do like it, maybe on a personal basis from time to time. This is really smart from them. It means that you're going to be able to split test in a more effective way within Pinterest, because you can have 2 different ad sets targeting 2 different groups of people, or to using 2 different sorts of ads to see which one works better. It's going to be smart. And my big thought is, why, oh why does Twitter not sort out their advertising interface and make it as good as that, similar to Facebook, similar, so that users like me don't feel like we have to go and learn a whole new system. Big points, big kudos to Pinterest. Even though I'm not a lover of the network, they're doing good here. Well done. You use it for recipe ideas, Marie. Actually, have you seen there's like a blog or a Tumblr or something called Pinterest Fails, when people try and recreate something that they've seen on Pinterest with hilarious results. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. Okay, we've got two more bits of news. I've got 5 minutes left. We'll manage them. So number 1, I'm going to go through quite quickly then, which is Messenger, Facebook Messenger on the web. Now, this didn't really make a big impact on me. It wasn't until I saw other people giving out about it that I realised it had changed. You may have noticed that if you access Facebook on the web, the icon at the top of the screen that used to be kind of like a speech bubble for your messages has now been changed to the Messenger icon. Your kind of regular messages that you send in that little pop-up at the bottom of the screen haven't changed. But if you click through to see all your messages, it looks like the site messenger.com, which I've actually been using for ages because it keeps me off Facebook and I can still do messaging. So they've changed that. People are up in arms. I don't really know why. I know why they don't like it on the phone. But it doesn't bother me on the desktop at all, because there's no privacy issues there. All the things that people hated about it on the mobile, you're not getting that on the web. The interface is just a little bit different. I have a screen grab. I'm going to link to the place I stole this from, because if I'd screen grab my own one, I'd have to block loads out. And Andrew Hutchinson, who is a great blogger who you should follow on social media today, shared a screen grab of his, and he's done the blocking out for me. So this is what it looks like. Obviously the blue and grey boxes are the text, but you can see here that, oh, I cropped it out a little bit. There's a video chat function at the top. Hang on. Here, this is a lot of stuff that you can do. You can change the colour of your chats. And you can, all those game functions and stuff that we talked about before, and all the little bits and pieces that you could do on your Messenger on your phone, you can now do on the Messenger on Facebook. You can also, Andrew Hutchinson, you'll find him, he's a blogger for Social Media Today. He does a lot of the news stuff. He's a fantastic blogger, love him a lot, based in Australia. So it is, I like it, and there has to be, I think it's really important to have a good, something that looks the same as the web as it does on mobile, so you don't feel totally lost when you've gone for mobile. And actually, while I'm at it, for those of you who use the Facebook Pages Manager app, you can now access your newsfeed, your business newsfeed, from the app. Go and check it. You'll find posts from pages like mine. That's it. It's actually the pages that you have liked as your business. Big news. Must update my blog post. Right, on to the final and biggest bit of news then, which is LinkedIn has just changed its interface just after I hit publish on my blog post yesterday with a screen grab and an explanation of something you could do. Thank you, LinkedIn. We've known this has been on its way for quite some time. My first reaction is it looks a lot better. It looks very similar to the mobile experience. The whole system is very similar to the mobile experience, which is nice. It looks nice. My second reaction is, oh, now I have to update all my training materials, which that's a problem specifically for me. But there are a few things we've lost. Number 1, we've lost the CRM functionality that you could tag users, that you could leave notes on users for yourself to use later on. That's gone unless you upgrade to their Sales Navigator platform. The second thing that's gone, I had to look at my notes because I've already forgotten. It's something really annoying that's gone. Oh, advanced search has gone. So before you could go and search for users and you could find people at particular companies, and if you wanted more information, you'd have to upgrade. Now to get advanced search at all, you need to upgrade. On the mobile, you can still search for posts, which is what was in my blog yesterday, the function of being able to search and post by people so you'd find interesting content. At the moment, today, I cannot search for posts on the web. It doesn't give me that search tab, but I believe it will be there soon. They in fact even make reference to it in their guide for searching. So we will see it soon, but that's a devastating change for me. However, you know, we've seen so many social networks that are failing. You know, Twitter is failing to make money. Facebook is making money, but they can't all go that route. In the past, people, almost every single LinkedIn course I give, people say, you know, is it worth upgrading to Sales Navigator? And I'll go, well, you can do more searches and you can inbox people. Not really, not unless you're actually looking for funding for something, or if you're a recruiter. Whereas now I think there's going to be an advantage for everyone to upgrade to Sales Navigator, which means they do have a sustainable business model. Most of us will be able to live with LinkedIn the way it is, but for those people who need to use LinkedIn, power LinkedIn users definitely will be looking at Sales Navigator again. And then hopefully, because if you've seen the price of ads on LinkedIn, oh, painful. Hopefully then the price of ads might come down so they'll be more accessible to the rest of us. It's going to be interesting to see how it develops. I am disappointed that I can't use all the cool functions that I used to love on LinkedIn, but I can totally see why they're doing it. It's a far more user-friendly network now, even if they've taken away some of the core functions. There's a blogger, Melanie Dordaro, Top Dog Social Media. She blogs about LinkedIn a lot. She's written a book about it, but she's covering a lot of the changes and some of the workarounds you can do in order to still do the same stuff. And she's talking us through Sales Navigator as well. I'm out of time. I didn't get to chat with you as much as I would have liked to this week. Just a reminder that if you know somebody that would like to watch this social media news this week, please share it in a group, on your profile, on a page, because I'd love to say hi to them. And if you want an email reminder, and remember it's a double opt-in, so you look out for the email that confirms your subscription, go to spiderworking.com/Facebook Live. I still haven't fixed it, but if you do put your email in there and submit it, you will be added to the list as long as you say you definitely want to when you get the email from MailChimp. That's all from me for this week. See you again, 9:30 a.m. next Friday. Bye-bye.